Good morning. This is Ozarks Fox AM.
Good morning. Welcome to Ozarks Fox AM on this thankful Thursday. And I'm so thankful that my good friend, the seafood know-it-all, if you will,
I'm back.
Jessica Miller is back with me this morning.
Hi, everybody. You had me back. Thank you.
Because we had such a good time last time.
It was fun. It was
we
fun.
had a blast. Now,
And now we're friends.
we're like legit friends. I really only knew Jessica because of Travis Burks beforehand, because you'd come on with the seafood.
Yes.
And we hit it off, and I was like, oh, do you want to co-host?
We're friends. Here I am.
And by the way, too, guys, now we've asked Jessica to come on regularly to be our dietitian and give us, great food updates, seafood, health benefits.
All the health advice.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So you're gonna be sticking around.
Okay.
Now let me ask you this. Last time you hosted, how has all the fame and recognition?
It's been hard.
Has it been hard?
It's been hard. I have to wear sunglasses when I go into the store because it's like, don't recognize me, guys. I'm just not in the mood today. But I'll adjust. I feel like I'll adjust.
Did you see the people taking like paparazzi photos of you as you walked into Price Cutter?
Everywhere. In Fair Grove, but
In Fair Grove.
small town.
I love it. You are so funny. We had the best. I won't repeat what we were talking about. It's not anything bad, but it was just, we were talking about like Napoleon and stuff this morning.
Oh, yeah.
It was just very fun. We had a great conversation in the office this morning.
Yes, learning about history, or what we do and do not know.
Learning about the school system, about bottom feeders,
Yes,
the fish.
tilapia. We talked about tilapia.
I mean, there's so many things. Guys, you think our conversations on the show are random? Oh, yeah, this morning.
Yeah.
Random.
Yes.
Random. Also, I hope they got the photos that I sent of you. It was kind of a last minute, so I apologize, Kira. If you have them, let me know. You recently went to Boston for like a seafood fest?
Yes, the big seafood show. So I just got back from Boston, and there was 30,000 people there. It's not a real lobster, but I had to take a
I
picture
wish it
with
was. I'd eat that lobster.
And I ate all the seafood. I had this picture is me trying my first anchovy. So my boss caught me mid-anchovy, and it's not a very flattering picture. I wasn't a fan. I also had my first trout roe, which
explain what that is.
Fish eggs.
Is that like caviar?
Eggs. Yes.
Okay.
Well, caviar is from sturgeon eggs, but it's fish eggs.
I'll admit it to you. I'm surprised as a seafood dietitian you had never had an anchovy before.
I know, but I think it's like being from
What?
fish in a tin is a little intimidating. I don't know. Eating things with eyes.
Okay, let me ask you this then. I did not like caviar until I worked on a cruise ship.
Okay.
And then I became a fan of caviar, which surprised me.
Yeah.
Then what surprised me more is my dad is a good old Texas boy.
Yeah.
Like, he is like meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
He is like, old school. Anyway, we're on the cruise ship, and my dad says, hey, Jeremy, you want to try escargot? Which is snails. My dad, of all people, who I've never seen be adventurous in my life when it comes to food.
Aww.
So there's me and my dad, and my mom was like, y'all are crazy.
You inspired him.
So guess what? My dad and I eat the escargot. We both loved it.
I heard it tastes just like butter.
It is.
Is it like...
the most mouth-watering, buttery taste you've ever experienced.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. I haven't tried snails yet.
You need to, and by the way, make sure you have a little beautiful piece of buttered crostini bread.
Yeah.
And it was so
It reminds me kind of like a mussel. Like, I like mussels.
Yes, it's softer than a mussel, though. Wait, is
Okay.
that the one which one was rubbery?
Yeah, mussels are. But
rubbery?
you eat them with like a baguette, and they get the white
Okay.
wine sauce. I don't know.
Yeah, Jake, what did you say? You were saying something, too. Oysters.
Oysters.
I tried to do a raw oyster on the show, and I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it? I love oysters, but
Haley saw me spit it out.
Yeah.
I couldn't, the texture and consistency, I could not get.
And you're not supposed to chew them. It's just supposed to slide straight down your gullet. That's a lot for some people.
First of all, that's a lot, and then how are you supposed to taste it if it's so good?
Yeah.
If you just slide it down, how can you? I don't understand. If you don't chew it and taste it and enjoy it, what's the point?
Well, and you're supposed to drink the water that comes in the oyster, because some people can
This is
actually
gross.
drink the water in the oyster and they can tell what bay that oyster is from. Like, oh, this is from this area, or this one's from this area.
Like wine connoisseurs who can tell the regions.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if you're eating breakfast right now, I'm so sorry. We're talking about raw oysters
I know.
and snails.
And we're going to be cooking fish a little bit later, too. in the
Yeah, we're
morning.
making fish. Since Jessica Miller's here, we're making fish tacos.
I bring the seafood wherever I go.
There you go. Curious, Jesse.
Yeah.
Caviar, escargot. Any thoughts?
I've never had either of those, but the oyster conversation. I guess a peek behind the curtain for me here. My current lady and I, one of our first
Current.
dates, we went to kind of a, I shouldn't say current.
Both were like, my
Sorry.
current lady.
Okay, go on.
Oh, I know her dad's
in
probably
trouble.
watching this too.
What? That is amazing.
My lady and I, my one and only lady.
The one and only.
My one and only lady, who I love very much. One of our first few dates, we went to kind of a fancy dinner party, and they had oysters there. And I was like, oh, that looks horrible, but I'm going to try to impress my lady here. I'm going to try one. And I liked it. There's some horseradish on there, some
good.
cocktail sauce, a little lemon.
Yes.
Pretty good. You
Good
have to
for you.
mask the entire taste.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoops. Sorry.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes, here we
If her
go.
dad's watching, I apologize. Anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and just move on from
We
that.
should. Absolutely.
And we'll get to something else. So speaking of food, I'm glad we have someone who's a dietitian here to talk to us about this. Our first headline, a new study finds that eating high-fat and sugary foods leads your brain to crave more. American and German researchers conducted a study using two groups. One group was given fatty and sugary pudding daily for 8 weeks along with their normal diet. The other group was given a pudding that had the same amount of calories but not as much fat. So researchers found that in the group that ate the higher fat, higher sugar pudding, the pathways to their brains connected to reward and motivation were triggered. So they felt rewarded and they craved more. That group did, that had the higher sugar and higher fatty component added. So the more like of these you eat, I guess, the more you crave. So, and I saw donuts there and I felt slightly targeted because
I'm with you.
I'm trying to say, we are morning folks. We like donuts.
I wanted one.
Come on.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Miss Jessica?
I will say there are things I'll do for sugar. Mm-hmm. It is addictive, right?
What's the guilty pleasure?
Yeah, what's your guilty pleasure?
I like ice cream, and I like Swiss cake rolls.
Ooh, you're very
shame me.
specific.
I can't have them in the house.
They're so good.
Can I ask
What about you?
I have a very low sugar diet. I've done it for 4 or 5 years. Very low sugar.
Good.
Because at one point I was doing keto. Keto is high fat though.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that story, I was like, they told me on keto, you do the high fat, low carbs, and you're not as hungry. But that's showing the opposite. So I don't even know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think it's all about balance,
Yeah.
moderation.
Life in general.
So by the way, too, my go-to snack now is I used to love Little Debbie, any Little Debbie snack cake.
Same. Oh.
Any ice cream, loved it. So now my go-to at night, because I have a sweet tooth, just like my dad.
Okay.
My dad would eat chocolate cake after every meal if he could. But I go to now the dark chocolate bars, and they have different varieties like sea salt and almond, but the cacao has to be like over 70%.
Look at you.
Anyway, that's what I
Getting
try to do.
antioxidants.
Trying.
I was a little Debbie person as well.
What's your little Debbie go-to?
Zebra cakes.
Oh, Jesse, high five on that one.
Yeah, it was like every time I would get gas, like I would stop to get gas in my car, I would have to go into the gas station, get a snack cake, and eat it while I'm filling up my tank.
Yeah.
That is, Jesse, did you ever see the ones they make at Christmas and Valentine's Day? They're like it.
Oh,
With
yes.
the trees and the hearts?
Yeah, those are great.
And I think now as I get older, I think I'm just going to eat half the package.
Oh, yeah.
But that
All at once.
usually doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, soda is my weakness as well. I've switched to diet, and I'm trying. It's Dr. Pepper that just gets me. But
Oh,
Dr. Pepper.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to come off the soda a little bit as well.
Good for you,
Yeah.
though, making good
Yeah.
choices in 2023.
Yes.
We're trying. Well, speaking of choices, General Motors has made a choice because they're saying one of its most iconic cars is going out of production. The company announced it's going to stop making the current generation of the Chevy Camaro.
What?
Only this, that's happening early next year. So a spokesman for GM says another generation may be in the works, but they declined to give any specifics regarding the car's future. They didn't announce a replacement or what a next generation of the car could possibly look like down the road. But they said that this current iteration will not be the end of Camaro's story. So maybe a hint that maybe sometime later in the future they may come out with a newer model. But the last of this Camaro's model for 2024 will come off the assembly line next January. And this is all ahead of the automaker making a transition to all electric vehicles. So
Jesse,
It's a big undertaking.
Jessica,
Go buy a Camaro.
guess what my very first car ever was?
Stop it. Are you serious?
I'm dead
Camaro?
serious. A Camaro. Well, let me preface. It's a red Camaro. It was very used.
Oh, good.
It was a used car, but it was a Camaro, bright red, but the paint had really basically faded off. Like, I mean, I loved it. It was my first
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Character.
I had a Camaro.
Fun.
It looked terrible, but I loved it.
You were cool.
And by the way, I don't know if I've ever told the story on air. Remember, it was a used Camaro. I was driving to school after I got it, like junior year.
Yeah.
I pull up in the school parking lot. I dropped something, like my feet, so I went to pick it up. There was a gun underneath the seat of my car.
Huh.
Who'd you
Well.
buy?
Under the seat.
Yes,
Under
of the
the-
driver's seat. And I was like,
Oh.
what do I do?
Hello, cops.
You could have been arrested.
I know. It was not mine.
Yeah.
So I left it there. I called my dad from school. I was like, there's a gun under my seat. I don't know what to do. He goes, leave it there. Don't tell anybody. Bring it home. We'll deal with it when you get home from school. And I'm like, don't touch it. I was like, so it turns out it was from the previous owner of
wow.
the Camaro who left it there. And we
Whoops.
returned it to the owner. But I was like,
Oh, man.
Why do you need that?
Dad dealing with Camaros and escargot, all this stuff.
This
Wow.
has been a
a
morning.
dad's job is very hard. A mom's job
Yeah.
is very hard. But
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You never thought he'd have to deal with that.
no, I was like, I loved my Camaro. I loved it.
T-tops or no?
It was not. It was just
No?
hard top.
Okay, we were talking about that earlier. Natalie had some
T-tops.
thoughts on the T-tops for the old Camaro.
Well, Natalie, what are your thoughts? What was your
my
first
sister
car?
just had a Blazer, Chevy Blazer.
Oh, nice.
I love that car. I drove it till like literally the heat wouldn't work, and I had to wear gloves to drive it because it was so cold in the winter. But Jesse drove to school most mornings in a T-top
Not mine.
Camaro.
Not mine. I had a friend who had a T-top Camaro, or a really old one.
But the tops were always off, right?
Yeah.
Always.
And I was like, hey, I need to ride to school. I'm going to hitch a ride with my cool friend.
Yes.
Cool car. So,
I love
yeah,
that.
good times.
Oh, good memories, guys.
I know.
Oh, yeah.